Most e-commerce stores do not attract enough customers to organic search, so they have to spend a ton of money on Google. Not a problem if you love sending them money, but there is a better way, and that is content marketing. Content marketing can help you achieve three things. Number one, it can help you attract more customers. Number two, it can help you increase average order value. And number three, it can help you attract your customers, existing customers, back to your store and spend money more often. However, most e-commerce stores, smaller e-commerce stores, those that do not really reach like a scale, are very hesitant about doing content marketing. And there is a good reason for that. There are usually questions like, well, what do I write about? Where do we deploy that content? How do we actually do it right? This is not in our wheelhouse. We've never done this before. Why can't we just do things the way that we're always used to? And you can, right? It's just the results are not quite as good as they could be if you deploy content marketing. You can look at many examples of very strong brands that do content marketing spectacularly well, and a ton of their revenue, like 30-40% of it, comes from content marketing. Here's how they attract, three tactics, how they attract new customers using content. Number one, product descriptions must be absolutely comprehensive. A great example of very comprehensive product descriptions can be found, you guessed it, on Amazon with the best sellers, those that have so many reviews of their products. You will see that their product descriptions are incredibly comprehensive. The way that you come up with a very comprehensive product description is, number one, you think about every possible question that customers have asked you in the past about your products. And your product description must answer every one of those questions. Number two, think about why customer would not want to buy your product. Again, why they would not want to buy your product. And address those points in your product description as well. If you nail those two things, your product descriptions are going to be so much better than a typical product description that you will see on most e-commerce websites. And there are a number of reasons why this is so important. For starters, the more comprehensive your product descriptions are, the more questions those product descriptions answer, the higher the probability that people are actually going to buy. Number two, as people are going through your comprehensive product descriptions, they're spending more time on your website. That is considered a longer dwelling time in comparison to your competitors' product pages that may be selling something very similar. But because Google sees that you have a more authoritative website, because people spend more time on it, Google will end up ranking your product pages higher and your website higher than your competitors, because it sees more value in your product descriptions than it does in your competitors' pages. Tactic number two, blog. I know this may sound strange, blogging for e-commerce brand? Yes, absolutely, and here's the reason why. Unless you sell absolute commoditized product, customers like to research and understand their options and understand the product that they buy before they actually buy it. Many a times on products that are valued at like $50, $60 or more, people will spend considerable amount of time researching and understanding what it is that they're buying before actually buying the darn thing. So it would do you great if you actually write blog posts explaining your products, the benefits of your products, how they compare to others, etc., etc. And the second type of blogs are actually comparison blogs, meaning you could say best type of product, 10 list, right? You actually compare different products in your blog posts. Why? Because people, before they buy, they feel a certain internal resistance because they have a purchaser anxiety. They do not know if this product is going to work out well for them or not. They do not know if they're making the right buy decision or not. By creating content that helps them make that buying decision, you're lowering their anxiety and helping them make that buying decision. You're also serving yourself right because you're helping the customer, and when they're reading those blog posts, they're spending more time on your website. And if that cumulative dwelling time, or average dwelling time rather, is longer than it is on your competitors' websites, Google will once again see your website as a more authoritative source on the subject of these product lines. And it will in turn rank your website higher and send more customers, more shoppers to your website. A third way to attract more customers is YouTube videos. I know you have seen those a million times, but do you actually create them for your brand? Chances are not. We have audited thousands of e-commerce stores and noticed that most of them do not create product demo videos. This is a grave mistake because with product demo videos, you could accomplish a myriad of different things. Number one, people are searching things like how-to for different products online. They want to understand how to actually use those products. Number two, when you create those videos, you do not have to deploy them just on YouTube. You can also deploy them in your product pages, thus helping the customer understand how the product will be used and whether they actually like it. Demoing product makes a ton of sense. Think about the old days of QVC. That's a TV channel for those of you who are not old enough to remember QVC. I think they're still in business actually. Every product they sold, they would sell it for like 20 minutes, and in those 20 minutes, they would demo that product left and right, up and down, and explain how to use it. Nowadays, you do not need to spend 20 minutes explaining it, but maybe 2 minutes will suffice. The best example of a brand that does product demos incredibly well is Zappos. You can say, yeah, but they're Zappos. They can afford to spend the time to do product demos for hundreds of thousands of SKUs. We're smaller, we can't do it. But that is not true. If you think about it, a product demo can take no more than 5 minutes. If you already set up a camera, a mic, lights, and all you do is just do a product demo. If you know the product, it's quick, right? And you record that video and you deploy it on YouTube and you deploy it on your product page. That's killing two birds with one stone. Again, when people are going to your product page, if they're watching a video and reading through the description, there's again spending more time on your site, which tells Google that your website is more authoritative than your competitors' websites because people are spending more time engaging with your content. These are a great way to attract more people to your store and to convert more of them into actual buyers who are spending money with you. Tactic number 4 is actually what I just talked about, product demos. Product demos really help you convert people into buyers. Think about it. All of us are incredibly visual. We want to see. If we cannot touch it first, we at least want to see the product to understand whether we're going to like it or not. Product demos, video product demos are incredibly compelling tool to help you convert more visitors into actual buyers. Tactic number 5 that can help you convert more visitors into actual buyers is give them buyer's guides. If you are selling something that is higher end item, something that they may not have purchased before, give them a guide that will help them actually select the product that you sell. It could be a downloadable guide or something that they could view right there on the website. Not just the product description, but a guide that actually teaches them how to buy this type of product. Most people have a lot of anxiety about buying a product that they have never purchased before, even if your return policy is phenomenal. And the reason for that is people are lazy. They don't want to return products. They'd rather buy something and keep it. Like going back to the UPS store and returning it is not that much fun, right? So they want to make that decision, make it a right decision, and not worry about it. So buyer's guides are a phenomenal way to educate them about the product and how to select the best product and help you convert them into actual buyers. Tactic number 6 that incredibly effective e-commerce brands deploy to maximize their conversion rate is abandoned shopping cart email series. I know, surprise, surprise, you have probably heard about it a million times, but do you actually do it? We have audited so many e-commerce stores only to find that a very small percentage, single digits, effectively deploy those email series, follow-up email series after someone goes through the process but do not actually check out the product. Now, those that do deploy e-commerce, or not e-commerce, but email follow-up, usually do it in a very lazy way. 1 or 2 emails, and those emails are really bland. Now, most people, when they go through the checkout process, most people get stuck at like a certain point and then they go because they need to do something else or they're not sure whether they actually want this product or not. So you need to send them emails that remind them and educate them why they want that product and possibly nudge them to buy that product. This is 3 different types of messages and you should deploy all of them. In fact, we recommend to deploy the very first message about 30 to 60 minutes after they abandon the shopping cart. If you can do that using SMS, great. Text messages work spectacularly well when they're done in a very timely manner. Hey, we saw that you wanted to buy product X but didn't complete the purchase. If you'd like to do so, just click on the link here. It's a nice reminder because they might have just been distracted and now they forgot, right? And if you follow that up with a series of emails, or just do a series of emails where you remind them, educate them about the product, remind them of the benefits of the product, and nudge them by possibly giving them a small additional discount or a little giveaway, like an add-on to the product, that could nudge them and get them just over the edge to actually buy your product. Tactic number 7 that incredibly effective e-commerce stores deploy in order to bring more customers back to purchase more is, number 1, surprise, surprise, more email. The moment that your customer places the order, most e-commerce stores send them an email with order details. And then that's the end of the conversation. How bizarre. You want to make a sale to get a customer, not the other way around, but I think in like 95% of all cases with e-com stores, it's the same story. You just send them that one email and that's the end of the journey. You expect them to buy more from you, but that rarely happens. In order to maximize that customer return rate, what you gotta do is you gotta follow up with them, and that follow-up actually has to create value, add something to their lives, rather than just be another promotion in the email. So how do you do that? Once you send them a confirmation, follow it up with an educational video that may show them how to use your product best. And for just about any product, you can come up with a short video or a description. Videos are more effective, showing them how to use that product best, and maybe create a video series that teach them how to use your product, the one that they just bought, in the absolutely best way. And again, it could be applied to just about any type of product. After you do that, and when you do that, you develop a deeper, more meaningful relationship with that customer. And because most e-commerce stores are ridiculously lazy when it comes to doing this, they will look at you in a very different light than most other e-commerce stores that they do business with. After all, in marketing and in sales, you want to stand out in a positive light, create a memorable experience for your buyers so they actually remember you and want to buy from you. After your customer buys a product for the first time, after you send them follow-up emails that teach them about how to use their product best, you send them another series of emails, a never-ending series of emails. And there's always a question, well, how often is too often? Well, chances are your emails one way or another will not be looked at, but 1 out of few will be looked at, right? Most of them won't be, but 1 out of few will be. So what you want to do is you want to be in their inbox once a week. So that gives you a runway of about 52 emails per year. And in those emails, the right way to structure them, most companies are like, well, what do we write about our emails? Is it just all promotional flyers? No. So the right rule is this: 50% of your emails should be educational in nature. It should be teaching them something that adds some value to their life. 35% of your emails, and by the way, you can mix this up in every email that you send them. 35% of your emails should be entertaining. Still something on the topic of the product lines that you sell, but there's some sort of an entertainment value. For great examples, you could look at like Dollar Shave Club and the way that they have created their commercials. They're hilarious, very low cost production. You could do the same thing with the products that you sell. It's easy. Look for some examples. Just go to YouTube and like Google like hilarious video promotions of different brands. You'll see a myriad of examples. And number 3, so 50% education, 35% entertainment, and 15% sales, right? 50% education, 35% entertainment, 15% of sales. Most e-commerce brands, if they do any type of email marketing to bring their customers back to the store, they focus 100% on promotion. That is wrong. You're not building a relationship. You're teaching your customers buy at discount, right? You want to build a loyal following, people who want to buy your products time and time and again. You educate them, you entertain them, and then you pitch something to them. That's the right proportion. Tactic number 9, used by incredibly effective e-commerce store, is retargeting with content. Our favorite is stories. Stories on Facebook, stories on Instagram, if you're selling consumer products, are a phenomenal way to remind your customers about your brand. Most of the time, consumer brand products do incredibly well with very short stories. They're super easy to create. You can buy a relatively inexpensive camera, light, and that's all we really need to do. Well, and a mic, right? So your total investment into creating stories, aside from a little time and effort, is, well, $1,200, give or take. Could be less, right? And then you could shoot those stories, and those stories could be 30 seconds long or so. They're ongoing reminders for your customers about you. Ultimately, you want to hit up your existing customers, right, through every channel where they might be looking and interacting with your brand, because that really creates that loyal following where people, once again, they want to continue buying your products. Now here's a bonus tactic number 10, and this we've seen done by very small e-commerce shops and very large e-commerce shops and everything in between. UGC, user-generated content. You can ask your customers to create really simple videos of them, or even images of them using your products, and give them a $5, I don't know, Starbucks card or anything else in exchange for posting those pictures. It works phenomenally well because, one, it gives you virtually free content to post on your social media. Two, is it builds loyalty with those customers. Three, it helps other customers see how other people are using your products and thus help convince them to buy those products of yours. Now, it is very important to remember that everything that you do, you should absolutely have in most of the content that you create, except for stories, some sort of a call to action. Whether that call to action is buy something or try something or check something out or just visit us, you must have calls to action, because the ultimate goal of content marketing is conversion. If there is no conversion, if there is no call to action, there is no conversion. If there is no conversion, then ultimately what's the point? So you have to have calls to action in most or all of your content, with the exception of the stories. Now that you've watched all of this, here's what you should do next. Assess whether this is something that you should be doing in-house, or you should be hiring an agency like Catapult Revenue to help you create this content, deploy that content, and help you attract more customers, increase your average order value, and obviously increase your customer return rate. If you feel that this is something that you cannot do in-house effectively, and most e-commerce brands that are like $20 million in revenue or less definitely prefer to have an expert agency to do it for them, then reach out to us, talk to us. We will show you how we do things, how we execute on these things, how we develop plans, and if this seems to be a right fit for you, perhaps you'll hire us.